Imagine the unimaginable, a beloved mother and her innocent 10-month-old baby brutally murdered. This isn't a tale spun from the darkest corners of fiction. Rather, it's a chilling reality that unfolded recently, leaving a nation and a family in deep sorrow and shock. Our story begins with two innocent lives lost, a mother and her 10-month-old daughter. The link that binds this tragic narrative together is their connection to a prominent figure in society, Member of Parliament Philip Paulwell. The mother, a woman of strength and grace, was the ex-partner of Paulwell, a man dedicated to public service. The baby, a symbol of innocence and hope, was his young daughter. The plot thickens when we introduce the main protagonist of this dreadful act, Leoda Bradshaw. A U.S. Navy petty officer, Bradshaw is not just another face in the crowd. She shares a child with Paulwell, weaving a complex web of relationships that is central to this harrowing tale. The unthinkable act doesn't end with the loss of two lives. The bodies of the mother and daughter were disposed of, a chilling detail that adds another layer of horror to this atrocity. Bradshaw, along with three other individuals, an assistant graphic designer, an air-conditioned technician, and a person known only as Richie, have been charged with this monstrous act. The charges are severe, including multiple counts of conspiracy to murder, conspiracy to kidnapping, and murder. The gravity of the act is so intense the case is being taken directly to the Supreme Court. Investigations are ongoing, the details of which are yet to be revealed. We are left to grapple with the stark reality of this heart-wrenching incident, a grim testament to the depths of human depravity, a crime so horrific that it sends shivers down the spine. This is not just a story of a brutal crime, it is a reminder of the tragic consequences when jealousy and resentment take root in domestic relationships. As we delve deeper into this narrative, let's remember the lives lost and the urgent need for justice. At the heart of this gruesome act, a U.S. Navy petty officer, a graphic designer, an air-conditioned technician, and a man known only as Richie. Enter Leoda Bradshaw, a seemingly ordinary woman serving in the U.S. Navy. A petty officer, no less. Her uniform might suggest discipline, honor, and integrity, but beneath the surface there appears to be a much darker narrative. Bradshaw isn't just a petty officer. She's also a mother, sharing a child with Member of Parliament Philip Paulwell. Yet, it's this very connection that draws her into the heart of a horrifying crime. Multiple counts of conspiracy to murder, conspiracy to kidnap, and murder. These are the charges that now define her. The gravity of these accusations is not lost on us. But what about the others? What roles do they play in this chilling drama? First, we have an assistant graphic designer, a creative mind perhaps, yet this individual now stands accused of participating in a plot far removed from the world of art and design. Next, an air-conditioned technician, a person whose job is to bring comfort, now implicated in a crime that has caused unimaginable distress. And then, there's Richie. Little is known about him, his name shrouded in mystery as much as his involvement in this dreadful act. Each of these individuals led separate lives, each with their unique narratives and personal journeys, yet they now find themselves entwined in a tale of unspeakable horror. What led them down this path? What sparked this horrific chain of events? As we delve deeper into their lives, we hope to unravel the threads that bound them to this gruesome act. A group of individuals, each with their own story, now bound together by a gruesome act. But what could possibly drive someone to commit such a heinous act? The answer might be as old as humanity itself: jealousy. Jealousy is often seen as a natural, albeit uncomfortable emotion. It's that green-eyed monster that rears its head when we perceive a threat to something we hold dear. But when left unchecked, this seemingly harmless emotion can become a potent and destructive force. It can warp our perspective, fuel our insecurities, and drive us to actions we wouldn't normally consider. In this case, it's speculated that jealousy may have been the fuel that ignited this tragic chain of events. Leoda Bradshaw, a U.S. Navy petty officer, shares a child with Member of Parliament Philip Paulwell. Could it be that the existence of Paulwell's other family was perceived as a threat? Could a sense of rivalry or resentment have escalated to such a deadly extreme? It's important to remember that jealousy is not merely a personal emotion, it's a societal issue. It's a toxic byproduct of our competitive nature, of our desire to protect what we believe is rightfully ours. And when it invades the domestic space, the results can be devastating. The negative impact of jealousy in relationships cannot be understated. It breeds mistrust and resentment, fractures bonds, and in extreme cases can lead to violence and loss. The sad irony is that in trying to hold on to what we fear losing, we often end up pushing it away. In the end, it's a grim reminder of what can happen when jealousy is allowed to run rampant and unchecked. It's a wake-up call for all of us to address our insecurities, to communicate openly with our partners, and to seek help when we feel overwhelmed by our emotions. Jealousy, it seems, is not just a green-eyed monster. It's a ticking time bomb that can explode with devastating consequences. It's a destructive force that can shatter lives as it seemingly did in this tragic case. Jealousy, a destructive force that can shatter lives. In the aftermath of this tragic event, a community is left to grapple with the loss and the shock. The echoes of this deplorable act ripple far and wide, leaving a mark on the heart of every individual. A mother and her innocent child, their lives abruptly ended, leaving behind a void that can never be filled. The pain of their absence is felt acutely by those who love them, a constant reminder of the senseless violence that took them away. As the community mourns, the gears of justice are set in motion. The investigation into the heinous crime continues, with law enforcement leaving no stone unturned. The case has been taken directly to the Supreme Court, bypassing the lower courts in a clear indication of the gravity of the charges faced by the accused. This swift move towards justice brings a glimmer of hope to an otherwise grim situation. Yet, even as the legal proceedings unfold, the emotional trauma experienced by the family and friends of the victims persists. Their lives too have been irrevocably changed. They must navigate their grief while also dealing with the public nature of this case. Every update, every piece of news brings with it a fresh wave of sorrow. And then there is the community at large struggling to come to terms with the fact that such a dreadful event could happen in their midst. The shockwave of this crime has shaken their sense of safety, their belief in the inherent goodness of people. They are forced to confront the darker side of human nature, the devastating impact of jealousy and anger left unchecked. Yet, in the face of such adversity, the community remains resilient. They rally around the grieving family, offering support and condolences. They hold vigils, they share memories, they stand together in solidarity, united in their demand for justice. This unity, this collective strength, is a testament to the power of community in the face of tragedy. A community shattered, justice demanded. As we grapple with this devastating loss, we must ask ourselves, how can we prevent such horrors from happening again? In the face of such tragedy, it's clear that there's a pressing need for societal change. It's not just about apprehending the perpetrators, but about creating an environment where such acts are unthinkable. This involves strengthening our laws, not only to punish, but also to deter. Laws that are stringent, fair, and enforced with unwavering rigor. But law alone is not enough. We need to better understand and address domestic issues to create a society where victims feel safe to speak out and where help is readily available. We need to ensure that those suffering in silence know they are not alone, that there are resources at their disposal, and that there's a community ready to support them. This tragic event also highlights the need to address the root causes, jealousy and anger, that can poison relationships. It's crucial that we foster open dialogues about these issues, encouraging individuals to seek help when they feel overwhelmed. We need to educate our society on the importance of emotional intelligence, empathy, and healthy communication in relationships. Moreover, we need to dismantle the stigma around seeking mental health support. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to admit you're struggling. In fact, it's not just okay, it's necessary. Because when we deny our struggles, when we bottle up our feelings, we risk letting them overflow in destructive ways. So, as we remember the victims, let's also remember the lessons. Let's remember that every individual can make a difference. That every act of kindness, every word of support, every gesture of understanding can help prevent another tragedy. Let us remember this tragic event as a call to action, a plea for change and a demand for justice. We owe it to the victims and we owe it to ourselves to ensure that their loss sparks a movement towards a safer, kinder, more understanding society.